is breaking news from CBS 13.
Right now at 4:30, a man is behind bars accused of kidnapping and sexually assaulting a 13-year-old girl in Stockton. We have learned he has an extensive criminal history. Thanks for joining us here for the CBS 13 News at 4:30. I'm Hunter Sowards. The victim was able to escape and call for help. Your reporter Madison Keevy is live in Stockton getting answers on this investigation. Certainly disturbing, Madison.
Hunter, it is. We're in the area of Benjamin Holt Drive and I-5. You've got businesses, traffic. This is the general area where police say that 13-year-old girl managed to escape after a man forced her into his car, drove her from West Lane on the other side of Stockton to this area, and then sexually assaulted her. Police say she was able to get out, go into one of the many businesses that are in this well-trafficked area, and ask them to call for help. It happened earlier this week on Tuesday, and there were two calls. The first call was that this 13-year-old was reported missing. That was around 5 o'clock. By 6 o'clock, police had that call that she needed help. They put two and two together, and they moved into action to get her safe. Around 48 hours later, by Thursday, the suspect was in custody. We got to catch up with Stockton police today, and they really put into perspective on what it took for that 13-year-old to get away.
Well, we don't want to speculate or condone like leaving the house, without telling a parent. She did end up being outside by herself, but subsequently getting forced into the vehicle and finding that opportunity, finding that time to escape and save herself. We can't commend her enough for her bravery for doing that and reaching out to the police for help.
Again, this is that general area where police say the suspect, 41-year-old Dennis Lee, was, driving a vehicle and forced her inside. He's in custody. He was picked up at a traffic stop 2 days after this incident, marked by his car, and he's facing multiple charges for this. And you mentioned it up at the top, a lengthy rap sheet here, charges for manslaughter, as well as prostitution and assault. And Hunter, we're still working through the big question is, how does someone with a lengthy criminal history get back out on the streets of Stockton? We're working to get those answers from multiple counties where he has charges, and we'll continue to follow this. But the message right now from Stockton police is that he's off the street and that 13-year-old is back with family.
13, just so young, just so tough to hear some of these details. Madison, we know you're going to be working through those questions, getting us answers in our latest newscast. We appreciate that update there from Stockton. Besides Madison, of course, we've got your reporters in your community this afternoon, getting answers for you across the rest of the region. Drone demonstration. Your reporter covering Placer County, Brady Halbleib, is getting answers on how drones are giving a boost to PG&E's power line inspection program. We'll have that and this. Wine worries. Your reporter covering Stanislaus County, Nina Burns. She's in Ceres getting answers on Bronco Winery laying off even more workers. Those stories coming up, but right now, first alert weather. We've got video showing cloudy conditions along Miracle Mile there in Stockton. We're feeling much cooler temps, only in about the 60s today. So if you stepped outside, you probably felt that brisk air that we told you about would be making its way into the region yesterday. We're tracking that late season storm that could bring some snow to the Sierra. Hard to believe. Chief Meteorologist Nick Mariano's tracking those advisories right now going up up the hill.
Yeah, especially above 6,000 feet along the entire spine of the Sierra. An area of low pressure is going to be passing south of us, which places us on the colder side, which is allowing the snow across much of the Sierra, especially the western slope, seeing some of the heaviest amounts. These winter weather advisories going into effect shortly, actually, through Sunday morning, and that's going to lead to travel delays with the snow falling down, especially moving in through tonight and much of Saturday as well. Plenty of clouds around there. You can see that here on the satellite, a bit breezy across much of the valley, coming in right through the delta. It's onshore wind, about 10 to 15 miles per hour, southern Sacramento Valley, and all of this, along with the cloud cover and the overall pattern, keeping our temperatures down today, lower 60s. This is about 15 degrees cooler than our averages for this time of year. But forecast going in through tonight, rain showers increase, snow start to pick up across the Sierra. Not a washout tomorrow, but we will see rounds of rain coming around that area of low pressure that, as we mentioned, will be passing to our south. And now this is Sunday at lunchtime, and notice the snow shower still ongoing, while much of the region will start to dry out by late Sunday morning through Sunday afternoon. Hunter, coming up, we'll have a little bit more on on the snowfall forecast in the Sierra for this weekend.
All right, a late winter storm and early spring. Nick, we know you're tracking it. We'll check back in with you soon. Southbound Highway 99 near Stockton is back open after a shooting actually shut down roads for hours this morning. It happened just after 9 on the freeway near Mariposa Road. We're showing you that map there. Let's show you what the scene looked like this morning. Officers say one person was shot, which then caused them to crash. The victim was taken to the hospital for treatment. Still no word on their condition or a possible motive behind this shooting. Authorities not saying if road rage was potentially a factor. Nobody has been arrested. Sacramento police are investigating after a man was shot and killed in a South Sacramento neighborhood. Officers responded to the scene along Winterhead Lane last night. The victim died there at the scene. Authorities, they haven't released any details of a possible suspect. A bizarre death investigation is underway right now in Nevada counties. Let's break this one down. Deputies responded to a home on Boundary Way in Grass Valley back on April 15th for a welfare check. So a family member apparently had not been able to get in touch with the man for days. When deputies got to the scene, they called the circumstances suspicious. Well, that's when they found a body buried on the property. The victim, 63-year-old Patrick McAfee of Grass Valley. An autopsy is underway to try and figure out how he was killed. PG&E is sending up drones around Placer County. The goal is to inspect potential problems with power lines. Of course, very important here. And your reporter covering Placer County, Brady Haubleib, is live with why the company is wanting this work finished right now. Brady.
Yeah, Hunter, just behind me is one of PG&E's power lines, and today this is where they held that drone operation demonstration for us, and they say that they are kicking up their inspections specifically in high fire risk areas, specifically places like Placer and Nevada counties. Right now they've got about 20 drone pilots supported by a team of supervisors, along with about 50 contracted operators working to cover as much ground as possible. And while these inspections happen year-round, crews are currently out in full force, and PG&E wants the public to know if you see any of these drones near a power line, it's likely part of their team.
Getting our word out there is because we are being seen out there in folks' areas, whether it's in our local Auburn area or down south, Central Valley, whatever the case may be. It's the way that we plan on continuously. It's going to continue to grow.
Now, they do have concerns about privacy when drones are flying around near private property, but PG&E says that they have strict protocols in place, and drones are not looking at anyone's home or yards, just power lines. And when it comes to identifying damages or any upgrades that are needed to any of these power lines, they say that this is the most efficient and cost-effective ways to do that ahead of fire season.
Certainly harnessing the power of technology here to really utilize what resources we do have. Now, Brady, we've got some wet weather coming. I mean, is this going to impact the flying operations?
Yeah, Hunter, that was a little bit of a discussion this morning, and thankfully we didn't have any rain. We didn't have all that much wind, but they do say that there are restrictions when it comes to flying. You can't have any rain, and also you can't have any wind that's above 35 miles per hour.
All right. And you made the point to say that privacy for those homes in the area. This is not about, looking on anybody else's property, just about those power lines. Brady, interesting story there from Auburn. Thanks so much for that update. We've got some breaking news we want to bring to you right now. The X Games apparently postponing its Sacramento event that was supposed to be in August. Everyone was so excited about this one. The Extreme Sports Organization says it wants to be 100% focused on the summer 2026 launch of the X Games League. But the organization says this isn't goodbye. It's a strategic pause. Strategic pause is what they're calling it. They said they're committed to return to the capital city when the time is right. So another story we're tracking for you here on this very busy Friday. For the second time this year, the company behind the famous $2 Chuck is cutting jobs. Your reporter covering Stanislaus County, Nina Burns, is joining us from Bronco Wine Company in Ceres there with what the company is citing for these layoffs. Nina, what are you learning?
Yeah, Hunter, Bronco Wine Company says it's adjusting to evolving industry dynamics, and this isn't the first time. Just earlier this year, the company laid off over 80 people. At that time, Bronco Wine Company cited trends in consumer behavior and population shifts. This time around, the company says they're aligning operations with the evolving dynamics of the wine industry. Take a look at Stanislaus County. The total wine grape production value is on the decline, falling from 21% from 2019 to 2023. But when it comes to consumer behavior, experts say wine consumption varies by generation, saying that this isn't about business. It's about how younger generations are drinking differently.
It's a much more competitive landscape, and one of the rising categories are these ready-to-drink RTD type products that are competing directly with wine, beer, and spirits. And so those are like your cocktails in a can and things like that.
And coming up at 5, we'll show you what experts say about the trends in drinking and what Gen Z says they're consuming.
It is interesting to see how different generations are just taking in these products in a different way, having that ripple down effect. Nina, I mean, right now we've heard of those 2 rounds of layoffs. How many employees does Bronco Wine currently have?
Well, at the very start of the year, they had 750 employees, but now with the 81 that was laid off earlier this year and now the 146, they're down about 220 employees from that.
All right, substantial difference in their workforce. Nina, live for us in series. Thanks so much, Nina. The 15th annual Sacramento Beer Week returns tonight, so we go from wine to beer with a number of events on tap centered around unique craft beer. So the Brewers Cup of California award ceremony is kicking off at the famed Crest Theater from 7 to 10. Now that event is closed to the public, but don't worry, they've got a full lineup for the rest of this event with things scheduled over the next 10 days across Sacramento, Yolo, Placer, and El Dorado counties, all hosted by local breweries, tap rooms, restaurants, and beer retailers.
Breweries are just like restaurants, you know, there's a plethora of styles, tons of different varieties and then ingredients and culture behind it, that it's kind of fun to go. You can go to 10 different breweries, have IPAs at all of those breweries, and they will all be very different beers.
So true. More than 50 beer-focused events are scheduled through the first weekend of May. For more information on Sacramento Beer Week or the specific event schedule, just head to our website, CBS13.com, and click on links and numbers. All right, we're keeping the theme going because in San Joaquin County, Lodi's annual Beer Fest and State Barbecue Championship is back this weekend. Tomorrow's event is happening at the Lodi Grape Festival Fairgrounds. There's going to be beer tasting from over 50 breweries there.
This event has really grown over the years. We started out as a small beer fest. We added the barbecue. Now we have a spirits lounge, which has tequila and bourbon tasting. So it's grown to about 3,000 people that come every year to this event.
All the fun starts tomorrow at 1. It runs until 5. More than 30 barbecue teams. You see that there? Gosh, that's making me hungry. They're going to be competing for several prizes in different categories. A lot to do this weekend. A heads up for drivers, though, if you are heading out on the roads tonight, Highway 12 Rio Vista Bridge is going to be closing for construction. So that closure is going to last until 5 Monday morning for Caltrans repair work. There is several more weekend closures on the books through mid-June, so just be aware. Of course, we've got all the construction happening on different freeways around the region. Caltrans says drivers, they should plan for additional travel time, potentially even up to 2 hours when detours are in effect. The project is supposed to finish this summer. Coming up, a space where everyone feels welcome, how one local bookstore is writing a story of community and inclusion. Plus, an adoption event this weekend in Placer County, how you can pick up a new furry friend without having to make an appointment. And all new at 5 o'clock, your reporter covering Yuba County, Kayla Moeller, is in Wheatland getting answers on a push to turn the Hard Rock Casino into an entertainment zone. We're going to check in with her a little later in the newscasts. But first, a live look outside from our CalSTAR Skycam as we head to break. Rain and snow in late April. What? First Alert Chief Meteorologist Nick Marianos is breaking everything down, tracking that active weather this weekend. Stay with us.